much for joining us on this. And now, viewers, we shift our focus to news coming in from Canada. Now, for the first time, Canada has officially acknowledged that Khalistani terrorists based in the country were behind the 1985 bombing of Air India Flight 182, also known as the Kanishka tragedy. Canada's intelligence agency CSIS has described the attack as a heinous act of terrorism. Investigations, in fact, revealed that the explosive was hidden in a suitcase placed in checked baggage, and the passenger under whose name it was booked did not board that flight. Arzu Seth is joining us on this. Arzu, a massive admission by Canada on the Kanishka tragedy. Talk to us about everything that the Canadian authorities have said in this disclosure.
Well, yes, over 4 decades after the bomb exploded aboard Air India Flight 182, killing 29 people, the Canadian Authority Intelligence Service, Ottawa's primary intelligence, has for the first time has acknowledged and blamed the Canada-based Khalistani terrorist for planting the explosive device. And the public acknowledgement by the Canadian Intelligence Service is significant because, it marks a shift in how the Canadian state is publicly describing one of the country's deadliest terrorist attack. And for decades, India consistently maintained that the bombing was carried out by the Khalistani extremists operating from Canada, while the Canadian authorities somewhere have denied that and have took in another direction, but now it has been acknowledged in public. And also remember, on June 23rd June 1985, Air India Flight 182 departed from Toronto, bound for Mumbai via Montreal and London. About 45 minutes before landing in London, the aircraft exploded over the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Ireland after the powerful bomb that exploded and killing 29 people on board. Also, there were 268 Canadian citizens. The majority was of the Canadian citizen. 27 was the British citizen, 24 Indian citizen, and also the crew members and the passenger from several other countries. So the investigators determined that the bomb had been hidden inside a suitcase. This has also been revealed in the investigation. The suitcase was checked in under the name of the passenger who never boarded the aircraft. Also, the security breaches that have come to board that allowed the checked baggage to fly without its owner being on board. Also, the suitcase was transferred to multiple airports before being loaded into the aircraft 182. And the explosive device also denoted while the aircraft was cruising at about 31,000 feet, causing the Boeing 747 to break apart in mid-air. Yes.
Arzu, stay on with me. In fact, I'm also joined in by the Sunday Guardian editorial director, Professor Madhav Nalapad. Professor Nalapad, thank you for joining us on this. 40 years, almost 40 years after the Kanishka tragedy and the bombing of Air India 182, finally an admission that has come out from Canada on its role. How do you interpret this?
Well, I'd like to say better late than never. And the reality of the situation is that about 1/3 of drug-related offences in Canada and 1/3 of the drugs flowing into Canada flow through these Khalistani gangs. And the K group gangs, I won't call them Khalistanis. That's too noble a word to associate with them. So I'm very happy that that Prime Minister Mark Carney has basically broken completely away from Justin Trudeau, who was always justifying the K group and justifying their violence. Now the fact is that there's a criminal network at work in Canada, and one day that criminal network will go against Canada as well. So I think this is a very welcome admission, and I, for one, congratulate Mark Carney on making it, and I congratulate the successive governments in India for having the persistence to carry this through.
Right. Professor Nalapad, do you also believe now with Mark Carney Canada is going to have a stricter approach towards this K gang, as you say?
Well, we have to see whether that happens or not. Because the problem is that there are many people in the Canadian Parliament who are dependent on the K group for money and through money votes. So this is a problem, I can tell you very honestly. So we have to wait and see about that. But at least the admission of the whole situation is a very big step forward. And again, I'd like to say I congratulate Mark Carney for his courage. For a long time, for forces in his own party have been blocking him from saying the truth. But now Mark Carney has taken courage and he is now speaking the truth. So again, I would like to say it's a very welcome step. And we in India, yes, it is about more than 4 decades. But at least 4 decades later, the Canadian government of the day, the elected government of the day, is finally acknowledging the situation. And that will be a first step towards, I would say, justice for the victims. Of course, many of the perpetrators are no longer with us, but their gangs, their successors are still operating. And I can assure you that Canada will have to face up with that very soon. Otherwise, the problem is Canada, some parts of Canada where the K group is active are very, very, very unsafe. And the Canadian government needs to act on this much faster. This is a very welcome first step, but remember, it's only a first step.
Right, absolutely. Thank you for speaking to us then, Professor Nalapat. And with that, viewers, let's take some more breaking updates on this. Now,